This week, SDL announced the acquisition of Donnelly Language Services, a $77.5 million acquisition of a department of a very large billion-dollar public company, which is R.R. Donnelly. What does this mean for the industry? First of all, it's whenever there is integration of companies and there are synergies that appear, I see that as a positive thing. It shows the vibrancy of the industry and the interest that organizations are having in consolidating and optimizing the services. Will this significantly change the landscape? No, the industry continues to be fragmented and there is a lot of room for different services, different providers, different organizations. If by the time this thing is published, by the time you watch this video, probably Keywords will have bought another company, maybe a couple of them. The reality, what does this mean for the industry? There are many dimensions that this might impact you depending on what is your role. If you're a buyer and you work with either of these companies, you're probably going to get a lot of attention and a lot of information from them, providing you guarantees that things will be the same or improve as you move forward. My recommendation to you is wait and see, and then you make your decision. If you are an LSP that is a vendor for these two companies or for either of these two companies, you have an opportunity to acquire more business depending on how your relationship is, or you have the opportunity even to negotiate your current situation, your pricing, depending on what is your position relative to each one of these companies. One of the things that we heard is that SDL has this insourcing model where they have offices with in-house translators. This might have an impact for some of the Donnelly vendors that get outsourced work from them. If you are a technology vendor, these are two companies that have their own technologies, so I don't believe there is any impact for you. None of them are probably your clients, so move on. So what does this mean also from a mergers and acquisition perspective? Imagine that there is a lot of activity that is happening in the middle range of the Nimdzi 100 ranking that we published earlier this year. You're seeing consolidation, companies like Technisys buying other companies. We just heard recently about DataWords buying a company in Belgium. Again, Keywords buying several gaming companies around the world. So the market is very active because there's still a lot of money available for companies to spend in a service that is actually quite profitable. And one of the things that I like to say about this industry is that it is impervious to crisis. It grows even when the market is bad, even when there is a major recession. This is an industry that survives and thrives because when you have good times, you translate contracts. For example, if you are in the legal space, and if you have a crisis, you'll probably translate a lot of lawsuits. No matter what side of the situation you are, the volume will continue to grow. So what is probably happening in this space is that there's going to be a space in the middle of the list that is being carved out, and companies will be able to grow and fill that space. And I think that if you are $5 to $10 million company, there is going to be a drive for you to grow and reach this $20 to $50 million size that is very, very attractive for buyers in this space. But again, there are companies that are being sold at the $1 million mark, at the $5 million mark, at the $10 million mark, and so on and so forth. So don't be afraid. See how this affects you and benefits you, and try to look on the positive side, because there is an opportunity for you to develop your business around this news. And by the way, the valuation for Donnelley was over 13 times EBITDA. It's a new record. That's also interesting, something that might affect the valuation of smaller companies, even though what I see in the market is that still somewhere between 6 and 8 times is the most normal situation, rather than this 12 times for Moravia, 13 times for Donnelley. Anyway, this is just some thoughts, random thoughts about the acquisition of SDL of DSL, Donnelley Language Services, by SDL.